I just disappeared, gone. No explanation needed. I completely walked away from everything and everyone that just wasn't in alignment with where I was going. I guess it's true that sometimes the only way to find your true self is to lose everybody else first. At least if you're on a journey of creating something different, on a journey of escaping the programmed matrix. Now, before I made this choice of solitude and transformation, I really thought my life was heading in the right direction. After a difficult breakup, I went through my first little wake-up call, just a little mini one because it was nothing compared to the wake-up calls I've had recently. I went through my first little wake-up call, and after this heartbreak, I decided to go full force into my passion with music. I haven't done music since I was a kid, and I knew that is what lights me up. I knew that is where my heart is. So I decided to go full force in pursuing music again and transitioning my life into a full-time artist. And this all blew up way faster than I expected, at a very fast rate. And honestly, it was a little too hard for me to control. I found myself a good producer, a videographer landed in my life, an incredible stylist, dancers. It's like if support was just being thrown at me. Everybody just wanted to be a part of what I was creating, and I didn't even have to look for anything. It was just all coming to me. And these people didn't know much about me yet, but they saw it. They felt it. They knew I was going to be something great if I continued. I just didn't believe it yet. I mean, I know in my soul that I'm destined to be something greater. But of course, in the beginning phases, I still had a lot of doubt. I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of just depending on the people around me to kind of just like support me and lift me up. I was just a little baby in the music industry. But I started to see immediately how dark it can get. So I started rising really fast. My music was blowing up. My first few singles were an amazing success. I was discovered by a record label. A few of my songs were signed by a record label. I was getting hundreds of thousands of streams. My social media went up to hundreds of thousands of followers within the first year. You would have thought I was feeling so happy, so excited, like this has been my dream. My childhood vision and dream was finally coming true. I was doing music videos. I was in the recording studio. I had a producer. I had a stylist. I had a full production team. This is everything I've dreamed of, right? Let me tell you something. It was dark. It was so dark. I felt so alone. I felt so unsafe. I felt so empty. And as I began to rise as an artist, I began to feel so much envy from other people, from my family, from my friends, from my own production team. That's when the manipulation started, the control. And I started to feel sick in my stomach being around these people, especially my production team. How could I continue to create, to sing, and to build something with these people that I genuinely felt sick around? I just knew I had to listen. It didn't feel right. I couldn't continue to do this to myself anymore. I started to really trust my intuition, and I knew that these feelings were there for a reason. I believe I'm being guided. So those feelings in your stomach, those gut feelings, that's God talking to you, and it's not something that you should ignore. So I took my own advice, right? I just started hearing these voices, and something just kept telling me they're using me. They're using me of my light, but secretly envying me at the same time. And a lot of bad things just started happening at this point in my life. And I said, you know what? I gotta listen. It's time to listen. No more ignoring the red signs. No more ignoring what my body is telling me. It was just the wrong time, the wrong people, the wrong environment. And I was not ready. I had a lot of work to do. And one day I reached my breaking point. It's like God literally saved me. I started to go through uncontrollable panic attacks, something I've never experienced before, but they completely took me out. They took me down. I had to move into my mom's house and I could not leave the room for months. Months. I was completely stripped down of everything and everyone, and everything that I thought I was. Completely taken from me, completely stripped down to my core. It's kind of like, well, not kind of like, I truly believe it was a death. It was a death. It was a complete death of that version of myself. That version of myself just wasn't meant to come into this next chapter and into this next frequency that I'm evolving into, right? So then I began to rebuild. I began to rebuild from the core. I began to rebuild from the ground up. Everything about me. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes again, right? A complete rebirth. That's what it was. That's what it's been. And when I left, I didn't explain anything to anyone. I didn't owe anyone an explanation. And what clarified for me that this was the right decision was that I didn't hear from anyone. Not one person reached out to me when I disappeared, and still to this day haven't. So that was just complete clarity that I made the right decision. And I feel like they knew. They know why I walked away. They know the energy they were giving me. So they knew I was intelligent. They knew I was smart and I was feeling it. And it just wasn't a match. If I continued down this path with them, it would have completely destroyed me. They knew I was walking a path that not everybody could follow. And I cannot tell you how much my life has changed since I walked away and since I decided to be reborn again. In a way, I didn't even choose to be reborn again. God just kind of took over. I was stripped down of everything and everyone that was no longer aligned and that no longer served me, so that I can build from a place of authenticity and realness and safety. I finally, for the first time, have space to hear my own voice. The stillness that I feel and this vastness that I'm just connected to what is and to God. And I just feel so safe. I feel grounded. I feel guided. And I trust myself. I trust God. I trust my path. And I know that I made the right choice. I've never experienced such peace in my life since I've separated myself from everyone. And now I realize how much the people you surround yourself with really affects who you're becoming, the environment, everything that you surround yourself with becomes you, right? We're just like sponges. We're just like a computer system, and we're wired by our environments and our experiences and the people. So when you really separate yourself from the noise and from this matrix of reality that's just happening around you, when you separate yourself from that and you just go within, man, you just discover so much about yourself, about life, about God. And you realize that all of the answers really are in the stillness. You have them all inside of you. But you're so distracted. You're so distracted and you're being pulled down by other people's energy. So what I've learned from this is all the answers are within you. All the answers are in the stillness. And you really have to make a decision to really put yourself first and prioritize your healing. Because this version of you that you are right now is not your final destination. I heard this saying that I really love, and it's show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And this really hits me. This really hits hard for me because it's so true and I've experienced it myself. So for me, and anybody who's trying to create something bigger and create something powerful, this path is best to walk alone. It's best to walk this path alone with no attachment to anything or anyone, because things are going to constantly change for you during this transformation, right? Protect your own peace. Protect your own path. Walk away. Start over. Become someone new. You have that power. If you feel the need to walk away from people, places, things, anything, even yourself, do it. You don't need to explain. Your silence is the answer, and your growth is the explanation. Disappearing may be the most loving thing that you can do for yourself and eventually for other people. So if you've walked away from a toxic life or people or places, anything, let me know. I would love to hear about it. And subscribe so you can continue to follow this journey of rebirth and transformation and healing and all the good stuff. I'll talk to you guys soon.